Ayy, poppin' like I'm supposed to. Watch out for the people that ain't close to. Speak a little something you could toast to. I ain't tryna hear about what you won't do. Moving like I'm into. Hit the ground running like the rent do. Speak a little something that you're into. I ain't tryna hear about what you been through. Like hold up, say what's the hold up. I got the pack, who got the roll up? I'm tryna pull up. It seem like every time I show up, it gotta go up. See the drip, they see the glow up. Oh, now they know us. See, it's funny how my pockets out of shape, but I fit for the flex. Clear the phone call, hit my chick with a text. Parlay through the bird with my drip from the checks. Save a couple hundred by your with the rest. I prefer my reefer with Henny and Coke. Please don't be stingy, got plenty to smoke. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Seem like they doing the most for the clout. Did what I said so they know what I'm about. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Ayy, winning like I ought to. I ain't wanna do it, but I got to. Smoking what my doctor told me not to. Got these wishing they was hot too. Ballin' like I need to. Got my exes wishing for a redo. Smell the marijuana when I speed through. Hit her with a tip, that's a preview. Hold up, wait up, get your weight up. Shit, get your money, not your hate up. Boy, draw a play up. I flip my wrist, it a layup. She wanna lay up. I gotta get it, I'ma stay up. I'm all the way up, I got my pay up. I ain't playing with you, I'm a coach now. Commentating do the most now. I be somewhere booted with my toes down. Made little baby tooted with her nose down. I prefer my reefer with Henny and Coke. Please don't be stingy, got plenty to smoke. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Seem like they doing the most for the clout. Did what I said so they know what I'm about. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. act like Keenan. Still got crack, they fiendin'. Flow still hot like Phoenix. Shine so bright, I'm gleaming. This off top, I'm tweaking. Fresh out the rat like Neiman. And I'm still tryna fight my demons. Cause we all gotta act like Tina. That's why I gotta ride with the Nina. Outside, it's a war going on. Make me put my hands on my head like the Macarena. They want you walking on board like chemo. Ain't give a F to you like John Cena. Putting blood on the brand new Beamer. Tryna earn 8 stripes like Adidas. You get cold when you ride with the heater. It'll turn you to a dog like a keto. And expose to a cat like a cheetah. They smoke my partner like reef. Dímelo porque o no entiendo. Mi gente must really need Jesus. They shed real blood. I never seen the crypt and I believe it. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Y'all just talk, don't live it. And just took that route, that seen it. And I'm so outspoken like Reason. Jimmy Neutron, boy, Young G's. And I'm a self-made man.
I actually interviewed Darius Cooks on my radio show. Might have been 5 or 6 years ago before he blew up on social media. And Justice was just articulated. He actually went on Periscope Live during the radio show and did his own show in the studio during the show that he was supposed to be on. But he's a narcissistic individual. And because of that, he's had many of these run-ins. I think there was a scandal a few years ago where he was doing fake credit repair for people and got sued. His restaurant got closed down, those sorts of things. So he maintains these online scams, preying on the hearts and minds of his followers. And even just was just articulated after our show, because we tend to ridicule people when they act up on our show. He actually went on Periscope Live to talk about me and our producer and some of the other guests after the show. So this has been going on for a long period of time. Now, legally, when somebody talks about you online, that's just talk. But once they get into the place of making threats, either violence, threatening to release personal information, well, that's where you can actually file a criminal report against this individual. And if they do release improper or censored information, personal information that is privileged, that absolutely, you can report that to the Georgia Bureau of Investigations or to the Federal Bureau of Investigations for them to look into it, particularly if you have multiple individuals who are involved in this.
What's up? What's up, good people? Happy Saturday. And let me know that you can hear me in the chat by typing either deep dive or Club Vell, because tonight we are definitely doing a deep dive live show, as well as it's probably going to be so late by the time we're done that you're going to feel like you just walked out of a nightclub. So thank you to everyone who's letting me know that you can hear me, Alice and Precious and Black QT and Aunt May and KG and Deshaun and was that Ellis in Wonderland and miss him, his MJ and Nicole and Trikesha, Shanice, and everyone else that is letting me know you can hear me. I greatly appreciate it. We had a little longer of a countdown than normal because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, but I'm a little bit more ready. But I'll have to give y'all another commercial when we get halfway through the show, when we get to our last segment, so I can pull the rest of that stuff in. Anyway, so excuse me, today on our agenda tonight, we have Derek Chauvin, who got another round of justice. You guys were mentioning that in the chat. I noticed that when I watched the replay. And so we're going to talk about it because obviously you're interested, as well as we're going to revisit our Jamie Foxx story from last night, because there's a couple gaps I need to fill in, a little bit more information I got after the live. And then lastly, we're going to have a little bit of a story time, which normally is reserved for Patreon. I give story times over there of personal stories, encounters, things that have happened in my life. And but tonight I'm going to share it with our entire VPO community, one of our story times, as well as we're going to revisit and give an update on the John Amos family feud. So without delay, let's get into it. Thank you to the 96% of you who have hit that like button. If you have not as of yet, please do that. That's your free way to support. This does not cost you money, but that is greatly appreciated. It helps the channel grow. And if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing as well. Even if you want to test us out a little bit, you can hit that subscribe button. I guarantee you by the end you'll want to. And welcome to the family. So how many of you, first poll question of this evening, well, no, second technically, poll question of this evening is, do you know who Derek Chauvin is? Derek is the former Minneapolis police officer who was convicted of murking George Floyd. And he was reportedly, as in Derek, was reportedly attacked and seriously injured in a Tucson, Arizona federal prison. The incident occurred on yesterday afternoon, Friday, November the 25th, at approximately 12:30 p.m., which I imagine is around the slop hall time. It was maybe lunchtime, and I'm thinking they must have got him in the hallway somewhere or at the table. So they are saying that he was, I guess I can say this word, I'm only saying it once because it's YouTube, stabbed. And the Associated Press has covered the story, and the bureaus of prison have confirmed that the inmate Chauvin, Derek Chauvin, was indeed injured. The prison staff administered life-saving measures after the stabbing and transported Chauvin to the hospital. They administered life-saving measures, a courtesy he did not extend to George Floyd, when he took his life. So anyway, news outlets indicate that Chauvin sustained serious injuries from the incident. The attack was revealed by a source unauthorized to speak publicly, and he is reported to now be in stable condition. The details of the stabbing and the extent of his injuries have not yet been explicitly mentioned in the information that they have thus far. And Chauvin's attorney said that he is working on gathering more information of the incident himself. So closing out this poll, so I can put up the next one. Do you know who Derek Chauvin is? 97% of you do. There's 3% of you who did not. Maybe you just didn't know his name, I'm assuming. I pretty much think everybody knew about this. I mean, there was a revolution across the world due to this incident in 2020. So my next poll question is, knowing who he is and knowing what just occurred, do you have any sympathy for what he has gone through? So they're saying the Arizona prison facility where the incident occurred has been facing a staffing shortage, resulting in security lapses, according to various sources. They say this prison incident adds to a series of problems facing the Federal Bureau of Prisons, marking a continuation of challenges within the correctional system. I thought the federal prisons were a little bit better, but I guess not. Anyway, they say that he is currently serving a nearly 23-year prison sentence for the unaliving of George Floyd in May of 2020. I think it was May 25th of 2020, if I'm not mistaken. They said that he gained international attention for holding his knee on the neck of Floyd for 9 minutes during the arrest. I remember this because I actually watched the trial daily, and I wish that I was comfortable going live back then, because I literally had planned on doing pre-recorded videos and never got to. I was doing a lot of research, and the trial was moving so quick, and there was so much information. But yeah, I watched every single day of the trial. They said this high-profile case of George Floyd's unaliving was a pivotal moment in the discussion about police brutality and racial injustice. And so he was found guilty of second-degree murking, third-degree murking, and second-degree slaughter in April of 2021 after a weeks-long televised trial, which I stated I watched. His conviction marked the first time that a white police officer had been found guilty of murking a black person in Minnesota, according to the Minnesota Public Radio. So again, he set a precedent. He's like, this is not what's supposed to happen. Because I'm sure he knows of many other situations. He's like, this is not what happened. This is not what y'all doing. This is not what it's supposed to be. But the tables turn, thankfully, and let them know. So I'm going to play a quick little clip that gives it's a news clip that gives an overview if you missed anything that I said, and he may say 2 or 3 words I didn't say. So let's play that for you.
Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, who was reportedly attacked at a federal prison in Arizona. That's according to a person familiar with the matter, but unauthorized to speak publicly. He is reportedly in stable condition. Chauvin's attorney says he is working to get more information. It happened just days after the U.S. Supreme Court rejected his appeal of his April 2021 murder conviction. Chauvin is currently serving nearly 23 years in prison for the murder of George Floyd. In May of 2020, Chauvin held his knee on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes while arresting him on suspicion of passing a counterfeit $20 bill. Floyd's death sparked protests worldwide and forced a national reckoning with police brutality and racism. This incident is the latest in a string of problems facing the Federal Bureau of Prisons, many of which highlight the agency's inability to keep even its highest profile prisoners safe.
So that was the news. Well, there's plenty of news coverage on it. I'm trying to make sure my TV mutes. But anyway, so even with all of that, Chauvin has appealed his conviction, and the Supreme Court decided that it would not take up his appeal to review his conviction of the 2020 unaliving of George Floyd, striking down the former Minneapolis police officer's latest attempt to seek a new trial. So he's been trying to seek a new trial. They say earlier this year, his attorney asked the Minnesota Courts of Appeals to throw out his conviction, arguing that he was not afforded a fair trial because of the pretrial publicity and fears of violence if he were acquitted. So he's saying it's not because I'm actually guilty and because I did not follow policy procedure and the fact that I was just not a good human being to even keep my knee on someone's neck for 9 minutes, regardless of policy, just being, a caring human being. He said that wasn't the problem. The problem was that everyone thought it was okay. They just were afraid of the outcry from the public. So the appeals court denied his request and said, quit playing in our face in April. And the Minnesota Supreme Court declined to review his decision in July. His lawyer then took his request to the U.S. Supreme Court, which similarly declined to hear the appeal on Monday, November 20th. So he's been at it. He's just trying to get free. He knew they was after him, I guess. Okay, I skipped something. Don't worry about it. Y'all don't know about it. I was rushing. But anyway, Chauvin pled guilty to violating George Floyd's civil rights in federal court and is serving his state and federal sentences concurrently. The Supreme Court rejection of Monday means that Chauvin, who has been trying to get his federal conviction thrown out, will remain behind bars for at least another decade. So I think that was what they're saying is that was his last go at it. So he got to serve out. Well, unless it gets, time served, early release, whatever. Anyway, do you have the poll question I'm closing out is, do you have any sympathy for Derek Chauvin? 90% of you say no, 10% of you say yes. I get it. I get it. So the next poll question as we move along is, do you think that his prison sentence of 23 years was long enough? Do you think he got long enough? Now, I don't know if you're going to change your votes. You can't change them. It's too late once you hit the button. But I don't know if you're going to want to change your vote after you see this next piece we got up in here. So after all of this, Derek is doubling down. He is doubling down and calling the trial a sham. So he, in his first public interview, he is doubling down. He's like, nope, this is a sham. It ain't right. Y'all wrong. I was right. I could have kept should have kept my knee on it longer. So here's a little clip, just a little snippet of him in his own words saying how he feels about this whole situation, even after all of this time.
In a recent documentary called The Fall of Minneapolis, Chauvin spoke to the media for the first time, calling the trial and sentencing a sham, claiming his use of his knee on Floyd's neck was part of his police training manual.
In fact, I'm looking at it right now, 5-316, maximum restraint technique, right in their written policy manual.
So he's referring to what he claims to be policy, and he's saying I did nothing wrong. This is what it tells us to do. It tells us to put our knee on people's necks for 9 minutes, even when they're saying they can't breathe and they're squirming, and then their body stops, it goes limp. I saw the tape. I saw the video. I watched the trial. I watched it. Oh, we got trolls in there. I see Radiant saying, go away, trolls. Y'all can put the comments on the screen. I'm not doing anything where I need to read off the screen. So, again, they said the incident happened somewhere around 12:30 p.m. on Friday, around, which, just be my assumption and some of yours, that would have been around lunchtime. But you know that I'm always scouring, and, we got a lot of resources, etc. And so I was able to get some footage from the prison right before the incident took place. And so I'm always hard at work for y'all. So exclusive, make sure, again, when I provide these exclusives, hit that like button, subscribe, because only here will you see the exclusive footage of right before this incident occurred.
Button, nigga pop.
Hey, girl, you gonna eat your cornbread?
Oh, Trevor. Don't say nothing. You talking to me?
So there you go. Exclusive footage of what occurred right before Chauvin got shanked. So with that, I'm gonna see what y'all got to say in the comments. I hope some of y'all don't think that's real. And we're going to take a commercial break at the same time for some of y'all. Okay, let's see. We got 10-star comments, and we're going to move to our next topic. I'm not surprised he's a marked man. Yeah, I'm not surprised either. Yeah, not. What they did to Jeffrey Dahmer. It's certain crimes that you commit that you just, they ain't going to let you live amongst them. And that qualifies. This one definitely qualifies as one. I'm not surprised. Oh, I read that. He's a waste of good oxygen. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. Well, he just, I did leave this part out. He actually had just been, not too long ago, transferred to this new prison. So he was somewhere else originally, and then he moved to this facility. So it could have been at the other facility. They was just letting him be. And then at this next facility, it's like, no, it ain't happening. No way in hell. I feel absolutely, positively not right. Hell, they will probably do it again if they put him back in general pop. He was supposedly under protective basically, is it solitary? Not solitary, but anyway, he was supposed to be protected. And this happened, but that's what they're saying. Like, well, the prisons are understaffed. So although he was supposed to be confined and away from Gen Pop, they popped him anyway. I don't know how it happened. Sympathy, hell no. Right. Okay. No sympathy, no empathy, no nothing. Should watch this back. Right. Should have watched the back of George Floyd before he committed the heinous act that he committed on camera with no shame. Can I vote L now 10 more times? Right. Derek was shook when he heard that guilty verdict. I'll never forget his face that day, child. Yeah, even with that mask, you could see that he really thought, and then he was like, and I'm gonna wear a medical mask the entire time, so maybe people will forget what I look like when I'm free again. That ain't happening. That didn't happen. Didn't go work out the way he had planned. Poll question is, do you think that Chauvin's prison sentence is of 23 years is long enough? 88% of you say no, it is not, because George Floyd got a life sentence, eternity sentence. And 12% of you say you feel like it's either long enough or too long. Okay, so moving to our next topic. Again, I wanted to clear up the close the gap on the story yesterday as it pertained to Jamie Foxx and the latest allegations. You know that we did talk about the Adult Survivors Act, the act which allows survivors of SA to file civil lawsuits for alleged abuse that occurred outside the usual statute of limitations. And it expired this week in New York. And hold on, let me put the next poll question. Do you think that the Adult Survivor Act should be extended in any way, whether they give it just another year or make it permanent? What do you think? So we know that there are other high-profile cases. The law has been utilized in various high-profile cases, including a $5 million civil suit against former President Donald Trump, and then a whole list of people that I named yesterday as well. There's also attorney Megan Goddard, who is representing multiple women and is advocating for an extension of the Adult Survivors Act, as it also targets corporations, businesses, and organizations that cover up alleged abuses. So we have been talking about, and what's been on our radar are those very high-profile cases of, public figures that we're aware of. But this act applies to everyone. So there's thousands of people who are able to do this, for people we may not know, people who are not public figures. So State Senator Brad Holman is a co-sponsor of the Survivors Act, and he is working to convince the state legislature to either open a new window or extend the act permanently. It is being reported that the law has resulted in thousands of lawsuits filed in the past year. And I don't know. I mean, there's two ways to look at this. Some people could look at it like it's a free fall and you're going to have a bunch of, just people making up things just to try to be on the come up and suing people. But then, there are those who have legitimately been through these atrocities, and they need their just due. So I don't know. But as far as Jamie Foxx is concerned, we know yesterday, I'm going to tell the story again, but because some of you guys may not have been here yesterday, I'm going to tell the story again, but then we're going to fill in the gaps as well. So in a civil suit filed on this past Wednesday, November 22nd, actor Jamie Foxx is accused of groping a woman in New York City at a restaurant. And the restaurant is called Catch NYC, and it's still open. That is the actual outside of that restaurant. Says in her lawsuit, Jane Doe accused the restaurant and bar and others of negligent hiring, training, and supervision, and said the employees failed to report and prevent the alleged incident. So she's saying that they could have prevented this. Her filing reads that the defendant had knowledge of Fox's propensity for aggressive behavior towards females, the potential for unwanted touching, and his bad disposition when consuming excessive alcohol. So she's saying they already know that he can't control his alcohol, and when he gets to drinking, he gets very handsy and very a bad disposition. I don't know. I haven't heard this, and I haven't heard this. Have any of you heard it? Put it in the chat, because some of y'all have, y'all be knowing this stuff. So let me know. Have you heard any stories about maybe Jamie Foxx being a mean drunk, as they would call him, a mean drunk? So as a result of the incident, Jane Doe was quoted as saying she suffered and continues to suffer severe emotional distress and anxiety, humiliation, embarrassment, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other physical and emotional damages. And here's actually a picture, outside picture of the rooftop. So we're getting into this part of the story. So the alleged incident took place in August of 2015 at Catch NYC, which is the name of the restaurant. The alleged victim claimed that she entered the establishment where she saw the Catch Hospitality Group co-founder Mark Burnham seated at one table away having drinks with Fox, who is 55, Jamie Foxx, who's 55, whose real name is Eric Marlon Bishop. Jane Doe alleged that approximately at 1 a.m., she and a friend approached Fox's table to ask for a picture with the Academy Award winner. She claimed that he replied, "Sure, baby, anything for you," and proceeded to take several photographs. She claimed Jamie told her, "Wow, you have a supermodel body. You smell good, and you look like Nikki." And when she asked who Nikki was, Fox replied, "Gabrielle Union." I didn't think about this last night when we talked about this part. And like, for one, I didn't know that was a name they call her, Nikki. But the other piece is, so does that mean he's attracted to Gabrielle? I mean, obviously. But do they have some history? And if they do we know about it? Have we heard anything about their history? Him and Gabrielle? Because now this is like got my mind thinking in a way that I wasn't before. So here's the this is the rooftop area if you're up there. So says Fox, who she claimed was intoxicated, then grabbed her by the arm and pulled her to a back area of the rooftop where he allegedly, the court filings allege, he took her to the secluded area and placed both of his hands on her waist, moved them under her crop top, then began rubbing her breast. She said that she attempted to step away from him and noticed a security guard some distance away who saw what was happening, but walked further away. Jane Doe alleged that Fox proceeded to slide his hands into her pants and put his fingers on and in her genitals, both front and back. If you know what that means, we're adults here, both front and back. The woman added that around this time, the interaction ended when her friend came outside, and upon seeing the other woman, Fox stepped and walked over to the security guard. Jane Doe said due to his actions, she was injured and was rendered sick. Now, what I didn't think about last night, dirty fingernails down there could cause a person to get sick, a lady to get sick. Things for us to consider. She said sore, lame, and disabled. I'm not sure about the disabled part. I feel like we could be reaching a little too bit. Says was caused to undergo medical treatment and advice. So medical treatment and advice, maybe therapy was the advice. Says Jane Doe added that she was unable to pursue her usual and regular activities, which caused her to undergo great conscious pain and suffering, continues to undergo such, and will permanently be affected by the injuries and emotional distress she incurred as a result of the SA abuse and battery. The document goes on to say that Jamie Foxx committed a heinous crime, and Jane Doe said she has suffered and continues to suffer physical and emotional injuries, anxiety, distress, embarrassment, and economic harm. I mean, if you whatever harm you can, there's an adjective for, she has experienced it. She says she is seeking damages for pain and suffering, economic loss, as well as punitive damages in the amount that exceeds the jurisdiction of all lower courts. She is also seeking a jury trial. She is also seeking a jury trial. I find that part a little interesting because it's like you're trying to force a jury trial. Are you trying to scare them? Like, if we go to jury, they're gonna believe me. I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, do you think poll question? I'm closing out. Do you think the Adult Survivor Act should be extended in any way? 79% of you say yes, and 21% of you say no. Very interested in the 21% of you. Why do you think it should not be? I mean, I know it's a yes or no question, so you can't elaborate up there. But if you want to elaborate in the chat, I would love to see your comments when I watch the replay or if any of them get starred by the moderators. Next poll question is, do you believe these allegations against Jamie Foxx are true in some way, in any way? Do you believe any portion of this story in the sense of him being the aggressor, and not that it wasn't consensual, handsy stuff? Do you think that he took advantage of this Jane Doe back in 2015? Your opinion, only our opinions. We don't know for a fact. It's only our opinions. So Jamie Foxx had responded as of yesterday. I just didn't know in time when we went live. So Jamie Foxx denies the SA allegations. In a statement, his spokesperson denied the allegations made against the actor and was quoted as saying the alleged incident never happened. They say it ain't happened at all. In 2020, this individual filed a nearly identical lawsuit in Brooklyn. That case was dismissed shortly thereafter. The claims are no more viable than they were then. So he's saying ain't nothing changed. It wasn't viable then. It ain't viable now. What are you doing? Why are you back? God face. So his spokesperson went on to say they are confident that the accusations will be dismissed again. And once they are, Mr. Foxx intends to pursue a claim for malicious persecution against this person and her attorneys for refiling this frivolous action. The statement also concluded and said, if this is a that they're going to do that. I was saying, if this is a frivolous lawsuit, she's really taking a huge chance that when he come after her, he's gonna be like a Tasha K situation, Cardi B and Tasha K, and then she's gonna be like, I ain't got it. So I don't know. I'm like, why take these kind of chances if it's not true on any level? You have no evidence. And then, like, okay, she's saying this happened in 2015, and you're saying like you've taken a financial hit and all these other things. It's like, so for 8 years, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But again, I don't like to do victim blaming or not. So I'm gonna end my commentary there just to be safe. End my commentary there, and then we're gonna check the comments, see what y'all got to say about it. We're moving right along. We're about to move into our main story, right? Yep, about to move into the main story. I'm gonna have to play a VellNito trailer again, just because I need a couple minutes to pull some stuff. But I'm gonna read these comments, then we're gonna do a VellNito trailer, and then I'll be back and more ready. I ain't gonna be completely ready because it's just so much. But we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. Oh, let me close out this poll because I'll forget. Do you believe these allegations against Jamie Foxx are true in some way? 45% of you say yes, 55% of you say no. Interesting. It's almost even. Almost even. I'm torn at this point. I don't know what to believe at this point. I heard she filed this lawsuit before in Brooklyn, but it was dismissed. Haven't heard of him being a mean drunk. Okay. Yes, they have history. She was his only love, he stated. Huh? Yes, they have history. She was his only love, he stated. I am very lost at that. What was that? Y'all know I be talking about so much and talking so much. Yes, they have history. She was his only love. Put the whatever that means on the screen for me, moderators. Please explain. Please explain. I'm lost. Clarification: victims should have some type of evidence to corroborate the accusations, even if it that they only told someone when it happened. Some will abuse this as an opportunistic come up. Yeah, but I think though, because of just the way the legal system works. Oh, Gabrielle Union, thank you so much. Because I'm like, y'all gotta be detailed. You know, when I get to the comments, it can be 10 minutes later. I don't know. You gotta give context clues, so it helps me. Thank you so much, Majestic. I did not know that was his first love. Did not know that. But yeah, just because of the way the legal system works, you don't have to. You can file without proving first. Once you file, and it goes before the judge. Then they can decide if they're going to continue. But I get what you're saying. But just because of the way the legal system works, that part would be a little. I mean, you can leave it up to the attorneys, but that's what they're supposed to be doing now, and they don't always. Sometimes they think even if we don't have it, we might be able to force a settlement of some sort. Just keep quiet. They might have especially with the public figures and stuff, prominent figures. They might have a big deal coming up, and if we just tap them on the shoulder, they like, get away! You can't mess this up. What you want? 50 grand, here you go. 300,000, there you go. Get out of my way. So, Sabrina Lord is saying, I believe she may have suffered from some form of emotional distress or anxiety or PTSD. But she is putting a lot on that other stuff, in my opinion. Yeah, it seems a little loaded. It seems like I'm gonna just throw it all at the wall. Hopefully something stick. It feels that way. And then, I mean, just again, not victim blaming, but just thinking of options or potential scenarios. Like, he pulled her in the back, per her version of the story, allegedly pulled her in the back. Was it that she thought he would be interested and they was going to exchange phone numbers, or maybe just, hug up, kiss a little bit or something, and then he going to take her back to the mansion? Was it that, or was she, I don't know. Does she think she's going to get an autograph back there? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Let me stop. Let me just leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. With these celebrities, I'm not surprised if he did. And that's the other frame of thought that I have. I don't put anything past these celebrities or people in general. I don't put anything past them. And it could have been that she was okay with him hugging up on her, or even getting his attention and him wanting to privately be around her, speak to her, whatever she thought was going to happen. But then it went in a different direction. That's very possible too. And then people do go into shock. You got the fight or flight thing, so I don't know. I need more information about this one accusing Jamie. It's usually a pattern of multiple victims. Yeah, that's true as well. But we also don't know if, other victims have been silenced. And then we know the connection of these Diddy parties and Jamie. And just when you start weighing things, allegedly, it just seems like, Sleeping dogs lie together. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Lie with dogs, wake up with fleas. That. Sabrina is saying perhaps the verbal part, but to run his fingers up her front and rear. No, I don't. You know what? 10, 15 years ago, I probably would have felt the same way. Like, oh, that's a lot. Now, come on. But then to hear that Donald Trump literally, and still won, said that he just grabbed him by the yoni, and he talked about it as if like, this is just what I can do because of who I am and how powerful I am, makes me say he ain't the only one. He just he was just the dumbest one, the dumb one to talk about it. And he thought it was off the record. He didn't know he's being recorded. But I hear you, but it don't seem as far-fetched to me as it once did. More money, more crazy. Jamie attended some of Diddy's parties. Yeah, I saw someone, I think that was yesterday, I was reading in the chat that someone was saying he actually used to organize the parties. So that's a lot deeper. And when I saw that, I'm like, organize them? That means you are you creating the guest list, you paying y'all know, because in that complaint it said that Diddy allegedly likes to hire the men folk to come and participate in adult happy time. And so usually the organizer of a party would be in charge of those sort of things. So I don't know how true that is. Y'all let me know, but that's what I'm hearing. But sometimes y'all mislead me, so that's why I got to say I heard word on the street, but I don't know how true it is. Jules C is saying a lot of people attended Diddy's parties. Yeah, and a lot of people said stay away from him too. I got those interviews and stuff too. It depends on who. I got the side out at everybody at this point. I don't believe it because she let him get her front and back. Yeah, and I don't know what she had on or how easy that was, or y'all, I don't know. Aunt May 20 is saying, my thing is this: when he was sick, so many people came out saying how great a guy he is. Usually someone will challenge that or say, no, he's not. So I'm not sure about this. I would ask you to consider this part, Aunt May. So I have a slightly different perspective on that piece of it. If someone is as famous as Jamie Foxx is and gravely ill, we know he was gravely ill, anybody who would come out, especially publicly, and be like, he ain't all that, blah, blah, blah. Oh, they would have got attacked. They would have got, I was trying not to use the word hung, but they would have been dragged across the internet, across the world, back and forth, because everyone was sending thoughts and prayers out to him. So when you have someone then being negative in that moment, especially it truly was a life or death situation, that wasn't going to be well received. And I think most people know that. So I don't see that. And then you got to also keep in mind, when we talk about these sort of things, it's speaking truth to power. And that is not an easy feat whatsoever. And most people get destroyed for doing so. I mean, when we talk about Will Smith, I haven't talked about that yet, but it is on I've been paying attention. I just haven't talked to y'all about it. On Patreon we have, but eventually we'll talk about it. But even some of the allegations about him and his team and what they did to people who tried to speak truth to power, they destroyed those people's lives. That's what powerful people do. So when you come at them, you got to come prepared. And that's why situations like this are helpful for the underdog, because you got the law behind you. You got the fact that now there's a lot of people coming out, so it's making people pay attention, all of those sort of things. Where if it was a one-off person saying something, or two or three or whatever, hell, look at Lizzo's accusers. I mean, they got ripped apart. I mean, she had a bad week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. And then where those girls at? where her backup dancers? Probably lives destroyed. They may have gotten a settlement, ain't no time. But they won't be able to work again in the industry. So yeah, all of that. You can't go by that and saying let it go. The victim shaming to it. You can't go by that and saying let I don't know. That's victim shaming and alleged victim. That's victim saying. I don't know. I didn't understand. I'm sorry. We are not sure if she let him do anything. Oh, y'all saying the let word. See, that's why. See, if y'all trying to get on me on the let word, that just came out, and that's why I wasn't going to say anything. So I'm gonna move on because people like to hang on a word when you misspeak. Shamika Malone not saying he didn't do it, just need more info. Right, exactly. That's why I wouldn't. Yeah. Anyway, moving right along. So I'm gonna play a commercial, and then we will be back with our next and final segment, which is moving into the KC Amos, John Amos, and their family situation. Okay.
I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Boy, all that like Keenan. Still got crack, they fiendin'. Flow still hot like Phoenix. Shine so bright, I'm gleaming. This off top, I'm tweaking. Fresh out the rat like Neiman. And I'm still trying to fight my demons. Cause we all gotta act like Tina. That's why I gotta ride with the Nina. Outside, it's a war going on. Make me put my hands on my head like the Macarena. They want you walking on board like chemo. And give an F to you like John Cena. Putting blood on the brand new Beamer. Trying to earn 8 stripes like Adidas. You get cold when you ride with the heater. It'll turn you to a dog like a keto. And expose to a cat like a cheetah. They smoke my partner like reefer. Dímelo porque o no entiendo. Mi gente must really need Jesus. They shed real blood. I never seen the crypt and I believe it. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Y'all just talk, don't live it. And just took that route, that seen it. I'm so outspoken like Reason. Jimmy Neutron, boy, Young G's. And I'm a self-made man.
I actually interviewed Darius Cooks on my radio show. I've been 5 or 6 years ago before he blew up on social media. And Justice was just articulate. He actually went on Periscope Live during the radio show. It is his own show in the studio during the show that he was supposed to be on. But he's a narcissistic individual. And because of that, he's had many of these run-ins. I think there was a scandal a few years ago where he was doing fake credit repair for people and got sued. His restaurant got closed down, those sorts of things. And so he maintains these online scams, preying on the hearts and minds of his followers. And even just was just articulated after our show, because we tend to ridicule people when they act up on our show. He actually went on Periscope Live to talk about me and our producer and some of the other guests after the show. So this has been going on for a long period of time. Now, legally, when somebody talks about you online, that's just talk. But once they get into the place of making threats, either violence, threatening to release personal information, well, that's where you can actually file a criminal report against this individual. And if they do release improper or censored information, personal information that is privileged, that absolutely you can report that to the Georgia Bureau of Investigations or to the Federal Bureau of Investigations for them to look into it, particularly if you have multiple individuals who are involved in this.
I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Boy, all that like Keenan. Still got crack, they fiendin'. Flow still hot like Phoenix. Shine so bright, I'm gleaming. This off top, I'm tweaking. Fresh out the rat like Neiman. And I'm still tryna fight my demons. Cause we all gotta act like Tina. That's why I gotta ride with the Nina. Outside, it's a war going on. Maybe put my hands on my head like the Macarena. They want you walking on board like Kima. And give an F to you like John Cena. Putting blood on the brand new Beamer. Tryna earn 8 stripes like Adidas. You get cold when you ride with the heater. It'll turn you to a dog like a Keto. And expose to a cat like a cheetah. They smoke my partner like reefer. Dímelo porque yo no entiendo. Mi gente must really need Jesus. They shed real blood, I never seen the crypt and I believe it. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Y'all just talk, don't live it. And just took that route, that seen it. I'm so outspoken like Reason. Jimmy Neutron, boy, young G's. And I'm a self-made man.
I actually interviewed Darius Cooks on my radio show. I've been 5 or 6 years ago before he blew up on social media. And this was just articulated. He actually went on Periscope Live during the radio show. It is his own show in the studio during the show that he was supposed to be on. But he's a narcissistic individual. And because of that, he's had many of these run-ins. I think there was a scandal a few years ago where he was doing fake credit repair for people and got sued. His restaurant got closed down, those sorts of things. So he maintains these online scams, preying on the hearts and minds of his followers, and even just articulated after our show, because we tend to ridicule people when they act up on our show. He actually went on Periscope Live to talk about me and our producer and some of the other guests after the show. So this has been going on for a long period of time. Now, legally, when somebody talks about you online, that's just talk. But once they get into the place of making threats, either violence, threatening to release personal information, well, that's where you can actually file a criminal report against this individual. And if they do release improper or censored information, personal information that is privileged, that absolutely you can report that to the Georgia Bureau of Investigations or to the Federal Bureau of Investigations for them to look into it, particularly if you have multiple individuals who are involved in this.
All right, we're back. I had to, I was pulling stuff and then was pulling the last part first. I'm like, oh no. All right, so we are back. And so question is, did you watch my 2 videos on the John Amos family drama. I did 2 videos. This has been a couple months ago now. Those are the thumbnails for it. Well, I do know that these videos eventually caught the attention of KC Amos, who is pictured in these thumbnails. That is John Amos's son. And months later, I guess it popped up on his watch page. Somehow he found out about it. And he was quick to make sure that I knew what he thought of me. And so it started one morning when I noticed a comment under my video. So I get it on an app, the YouTube app. It'll show like recent comments or whatever under the videos. When I got time, I'll browse it. Sometimes, you know, I can't, etc. This particular time, I was able to browse it. It caught my eye. So under the busted video, it was titled John Amos' son arrested, exclusive details, and then Darius Crooks. But this was when he was arrested, and it basically covered the other media coverage of when he was arrested. Then I see this comment underneath my video. I get notification for it. And it says, meanwhile, Vell, I don't know who Vell is, but meanwhile, Vell is busted for copyright infringement. Pandering to the masses is a precarious business to hold down. Let's see what kind of smack he's spewing in a few more weeks. And I was like, huh? So when I read it, I wasn't 100% because I'm like, that's not my name. My name ain't Vell. So I was like, I don't know if it was a response, because sometimes people will put comments under videos and they're not very clear on what they're talking about. And so I don't make the assumptions that people are automatically talking about me, especially if my name is misspelled. So, and then I'm like, copyright infringement, I know that that don't apply. So I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I just move on with life. Then fast forward to the afternoon that same day, I'm going about my business. I'm researching, pulling content, doing stuff that I do for y'all, doing my regular work day. And I noticed a comment under my daily, if you follow me, and I suggest that you follow me on all social media platforms. Hey, yes, hey, Vell. Follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They're all pinned. If you click on that link pinned to the top of the chat, that is actually, that'll take you to all of my social media platforms. But everything is I am Vell B on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, everything. So anyway, under my post, where the post says, rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks. Thessalonians 5:6-18. 1 Thessalonians. So, and the caption is 3 simple yet profound principles for a joyful life. Rejoice always, pray continually, and give thanks. Hashtag joyful living. Hashtag gratitude journey. This was on October 29th. Then I see under it, says the man who YouTube page that thrives on character assassination without bothering to do any fact checking whatsoever. Just he said, she said, gossip. Huh? I ain't even got this show completely tightened up because I researched so goddamn hard. I don't come on YouTube every other day like some other bloggers because I like to research to my detriment. To my detriment. You know how big we'd be if I didn't care about research and I was okay with just getting on here rambling about topics? Says the man who has a YouTube page that thrives on character assassination without bothering to do any fact checking whatsoever. He said, she said, gossip. The lies you tell. The lies you tell. But that wasn't it, y'all. That wasn't it. So that at that point is when because you actually see, compared to the first one, he got some the YouTube name is KCTV. That don't mean nothing to me. Y'all, all these usernames I see, the only ones that stick are the ones I see often. So So I didn't know. Again, I didn't know who that was. But this one was different because if you look down there, his comment, it actually says KC Amos. And I noticed that old funny looking avatar picture he got up there. Like that's familiar because it's the same one he got over there on TikTok where I would go and get my receipts and my evidence that he claims I don't do while I was doing my research. So, yeah, so that's when I was like, oh, this KC. That's why it don't make no sense. That's why it don't make no sense. So let me close out this poll. What do we say here? Did you watch my 2 videos where I covered the John Amos family drama? 67% of you said yes. 33% of you said no. To the 33% of you, I highly suggest, because even though we're going through this, it's good. And I break down some of the things I'm going to touch here. I really break down over there with more. Yeah, check it out. We got a lot over here. Sometimes y'all be missing stuff. I understand, but it's still there. Go check it out. So next question is poll question. Is this what you would consider normal behavior for a 50-plus-year-old man? Hold on, it's coming. My fingers are a little slow. Is this what you would consider to be normal behavior for a 50-plus-year-old man on social media? But that wasn't it. So then I noticed that I had a DM, which is direct message, aka like email. For those I know, we are our VPOs span the whole gamut, our age groups. So for those of you who aren't familiar as much with the social media lingo, a DM means direct message. That's different than what we just had. What we just had was the YouTube comments. Everybody can see that. My Facebook page commenting under a post. Everybody can see that. This DM was directly to me. He was like, tap, 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 blogger. You ain't commented to nothing I've said, nothing I've rambled about thus far on your other platforms. I want to make sure you see me. So I see this and I'm like, oh Lord, what's happening? I was like, this is probably gonna be good. On Patreon, this is a couple of weeks ago. Patreon, they knew about it in real time. That's why y'all got to consider joining the Patreon. Click that link at the top, and that'll take you to Patreon as well if you want to go there. But anyway, so I get this message. Well, I'll leave it here. It says, if you desire to talk smack and focus on destroying a man's character, then you should at very least have the decency to speak directly to the person whose reputation you are determined to trash. Dude, I don't know you. You're not even on my radar. I forgot about you. I have moved on. Until you tap me on the shoulder. Tap, tap, tap. Here I am. So he says, you have failed in your efforts and our legal team is keeping a watchful eye on your page. Ooh. Because I'm reading articles. I'm reading what's in the press. I ain't once said, I know this man, he did this. None of it. Everything is in the press. And your sister's recorded videos about your habits. Anyway, my father and I are open to speaking with you about your failed efforts to destroy my reputation. There is still time to change the road you are traveling on. Now, that's a quote that he actually used before in his post to the public saying, don't believe his sister, all of that, that there is still time to change the road you are traveling on. I don't know why I gave him this voice. He just reminded me of like one of them old school 1970s wannabe kind of pimps. I think it's this picture that does it. It just gave me this kind of voice. I know this ain't his voice, but that picture give me that kind of voice. So he said, my father and I are open to speaking with you about your failed efforts to destroy my reputation. There's still time to change the road that you are traveling on. Let us know once you realize the road you have chosen leads to a dead end, where the despicable, soulless creatures of this earth await you. What? What was you doing when you? Because allegedly, what were you doing when you sent us these messages? Was this one of them days? This was one of them days. Anyway, I have worked in childcare and have held multiple executive positions in corporate America over the years. So for me, I'm really used to and not really fazed by tantrums. Because I mean, kids fall on the floor, all that, just, being rambunctious for no reason. So for me, adults even throwing tantrums doesn't really faze me. So I think that's going to be evident when you see my response. I'm like, what? What are you doing? Boy, go sit down somewhere. Go get some business. So I said, this was my response to all of that. All the trolling throughout the day, the despicable, what is it? Something hell, something awaits me and all that. Here's my response. Hello, KC. If you are interested in having a respectful, non-threatening, and honest conversation on my platform, I am open to giving you and your father an opportunity to share your side of the story during one of my future live stream broadcasts. Because I don't play no games. For one, I ain't talking to you by yourself. If it ain't going to give me James Evans himself, I ain't interested. Your daddy, the only reason would pay any attention to you anyway. So I was like, if I even would bother interviewing him, I got to have the James Evans from Good Times as well. Or F off. So, and also I wasn't going to do no pre-recorded. Y'all know I pre-recorded with Michelle Griggs and the Griggs siblings. Still, that video's still coming out, y'all. We working on it. Patreon now, we doing some live editing. They with me and all that. Those are coming. And I'll edit those, I'll pre-record those kind of videos. This, I'm like, we're going to get all of it live and in person. Like, I want y'all to see every bit of it. I don't want him to be later on saying I edited this out or that or this or that. And then I just want y'all to see what we already know. You can't have it when it's live. So I was like, only live. Only live. So I said, if this is acceptable to you and your father, y'all see how many times I mentioned his father? Because otherwise, it's a no. Otherwise, it's a no. Says, let me know what works best for the two of you. Any date, and I gave him a date. So this show y'all how long ago. Again, Patreon, they knew all about this. Any date, November 7th through the 11th, anytime after 5 p.m. Pacific. Because I also had to make it at a convenient time for y'all. Because I'm like, my people, they mostly on in the evenings. They would want this to be when they getting home from work and stuff. So he responded. He did respond, y'all. He did respond. His response was, all of a sudden he calmed down. I told you I know how to deal with tantrums. He says, we're waiting for the Hollywood Reporter article to drop first. I'm sorry. We're waiting for the Hollywood Reporter article to drop first in a couple weeks, which focuses on the documentary American Dads, which my father and I have been working on the past 2 years. And of course, the Hollywood Reporter will cover the drama that unfolded this summer as well. I have Good Morning America and a few other syndicate rounds to make. Reputation repair and under treacherous scrutiny is just about as precarious as the work of those who were trying to undermine the reputation. What? We plan to take our time. Luckily, I have been documenting every move, every day since doing the discovery early in the year. We will touch bases after I make rounds and see if there's any stones still left on the playing field that may need tending to. Who talks like this? Any stones still left on the playing field that may need tending to. You can tend your ass away from my channel. I don't want to interview you. Do y'all think I'm still? Do y'all think y'all still think y'all think I'm still getting this interview? Will I still get this interview? Will I still get this interview? Let me know what you think in the poll. The poll I just closed out. Is this normal behavior for a 50-plus-year-old man? 90% of you say no. 9% of y'all are the people who just like to troll me for whatever reason. I don't know why. Y'all get a kick out of it. Y'all like to be contrarians. It's fine. We need y'all. Appreciate it. So, that was it. I didn't respond to that because I'm like, okay, now you're playing in my face. Because you're claiming I don't research, I'm trying to destroy your life, et cetera, and I should want to interview you. I opened the door for an interview, and then you say, like, oh no, but I got big people I'm interviewing with. But if there's no other stones left untended to on the playing field, I'll double around back to you. Boy, if you don't keep playing in my face, you could have just left me alone. You ain't have to bother me. I'm not the only one talking about you. Telling the story. Anyway, so I was like, okay, the Hollywood Reporter, we'll see how. Now, at that point, that hadn't occurred yet. And so I didn't know what was happening. And I decided I'm just going to lay back, see what happens. And sure enough, the Hollywood Reporter article came out. And the executive VP on Patreon and I reread it. And I was actually just going to edit that and re-upload it over here on YouTube. That was a couple weeks ago. So I was like, forget it. Let me just redo it. And, I got some other stuff I'm adding in here. So refresh your snacks and your drinks, because this is about to be good. We are going to go over the Hollywood Reporter article that he participated in, actually the entire family, KC, Shannon, and John Amos himself. They all participated in it. He didn't think you'd respond, Vell. Probably, Dre. Probably. Will I still get the interview? 72%. Well, the 28% of y'all talk about some, yeah. Come on now, y'all. Y'all trolling. Okay, so I think we're ready to move into the story. Have you heard of this story, this Hollywood Reporter? Because the crazy part is because it's been a couple weeks now that this article's been out, and I was expecting to start seeing. I haven't seen anyone talking about it, but I would be surprised if it just, I don't know. I would think I would have saw something now, but I haven't seen anyone talking about this. So let me know, have you read or seen the Hollywood Reporter article that we're about to read from November the 10th about the Amos family? So I'm not reading that. Now that kind of stuff will potentially cause me to have to call my attorney. So anyway, the article is titled "John Amos and Family at War with Itself." Now, KC tried to be at war with me, but his real war is with his own family. Says the acrimonious battle between the children of the 83-year-old Good Times legend as they fight over his care, his legacy, and his love. Says in July, the TV legend, John Amos, 53-year-old son, KC, ended up in a New Jersey jail after his 57-year-old sister, Shannon, claimed that KC had sent her terroristic threats over text message that made her believe that her life was in danger. According to the police report, these included a photo of a rifle with a caption explaining that it can clean a turkey from 3 football fields away. So he sent a text message to his sister with him pictured with a rifle saying it can clean a turkey out from 3 football fields away. I don't know what she was supposed to think of that. So this was the latest in a series of sensational headline-grabbing episodes involving the siblings this year. They've been locked in a bitter dispute over their father's care, with the accusation of elder abuse slung at each other in each other's direction. Yet behind the scenes, The Hollywood Reporter has learned through discussions with all 3 Amoses that the situation is both more and less than what it seems. The painful saga goes back decades and proves an unsettling X-ray on the family life of a man who became an icon, especially among generations of African Americans, for playing James Evans Sr. on Good Times. The claims and counterclaims conjure gothic drama, infirmity, obsession, revenge, deceit, and madness. Y'all want to wonder what side the madness come from? Y'all want to wonder who they referring to when they talk about madness? This is The Hollywood Reporter saying this. Their words, not mine. Says each of the kids, Casey, a music video director and editor, Shannon, entertainment executive turned medicine healer, believe that they're innocent and the other is nefarious. Their 83-year-old father, who has in the past toggled his trust between his offspring while making clear he loves both of them, detests that his family life has become gossip fodder. He's quoted as saying, whatever we're going through is our business, not the business of the public. It's true. He says, yet the warring siblings, in their attempts to vanish each other, have shown a common willingness to trump that desire for privacy by leveraging social media platforms, and in their dealings with The Hollywood Reporter by putting forward confidential documents to press their respective cases. In the event, even if it might undercut them or embarrass their father. So what they're saying in this is that they both basically use this platform to prove their cases against. So basically they was using, this is the reporter basically saying that they're using this Hollywood Reporter article as if it's like a court of law. We about to prove our case. So they said for all of their differences, KC and Shannon understand the value of storytelling. This is saying they're both really good at storytelling. Says their father impressed upon them that if they must work in Hollywood, they should stay away from acting and instead pursue behind the scenes careers where they might be the ones making the true creative decisions and determining and framing the narrative of the vision. Says in this battle, they are pitching 70s sitcom star in trouble when his bipolar, drug-addicted son exploits him on TikTok and his shaman daughter comes to the rescue. Now, this is, again, The Hollywood Reporter. I am reading verbatim. Casey, that means these ain't my words. These are my researched words. In this battle, they are pitching a 70s sitcom star in trouble when his bipolar, drug-addicted son exploits him on TikTok and his shaman daughter comes to the rescue. Look like you might need to get in their DMs is what it sounds like, and get on their Facebook pages and troll them. Troll this reporter. He straight up called you a drug-addicted son. Well, I'm sorry. No, a bipolar, drug-addicted son is what he says in this article. That's what the reporter, I'm sorry, I should have got his name. I should have, hold on, y'all. I want to give him, oh, now this page would be acting up. Yeah, I want to give the reporter his credit for all of his hard work that helped us with this this video. Really greatly appreciate you. Or he or she, I'm sorry. They. Let me see. Gary Baum from the Hollywood Reporter. Thank you for your work, sir. Or thank you for your work, person, because I don't want to misgender nobody. So they go on to say, Shannon says that's what it looks like. It's crazy. For his part, KC, invoking and appropriating his father's most prestigious starring role as an enslaved protagonist of Roots, notes that his several-day stay in the New Jersey jail that resulted from his sister's accusations, he says, it's true false imprisonment. I became Kenta Kunte. So from the, just in case you're a little lost, from him sending his sister the text message, a picture via text of him standing there with a rifle saying that it could clear a turkey out from 3 football fields away. She then said, this is a threat. She, contacts the authorities. They go pick him up. They arrest him. He spends days in jail. Wondering why it was so many days in jail, but that's a whole nother story. Spends days in jail. And he then says it was true false imprisonment. He became Kunta Kinte. So the article goes on to say, since earlier this year, John Amos has been traveling the country with KC on TikTok. His son has depicted their journeys like a buddy comedy. While Shannon and the other members of the actor's personal and professional circles have regarded the spectacle with unease, especially because it has included stays in medical facilities in multiple states. Multiple states. Again, I'm just reading. I'm just researching. So in October, they arrived in Los Angeles to take business meetings. Soon after, the Hollywood Reporter met them for lunch. Hold on, let me enlarge this. I hit the wrong button. It's getting late. My eyes acting up. And it's a lot. There's a lot, y'all. But y'all deserve it. It's a lot of reading. It says, in October, they arrived in Los Angeles to take business meetings. Soon after, the Hollywood Reporter met them for lunch at the Marina Del Rey Hotel. KC, in a psychedelic shirt and wafers, vacillated between being solemn, upset, and casually as loose as he appears on his TikTok. Just and then very solemn, and then like, I can't believe this, all in the same all in the same meeting, where he amassed and they're saying as he appears on his TikTok, where he amassed almost 500,000 followers by posting a substantial amount of content involving his dad, the legendary John Amos. John, in a wheelchair, was far more even-tempered, fielding the questions in his signature dignified baritone with a no-nonsense sharpness, although nodding off half an hour into the conversation, prompting his son to gently nudge him. So John Amos is in a wheelchair at this meeting with the Hollywood Reporter, and John Amos is participating in his wheelchair, just talking. He's participating in the interview, and then he nods off to the point that the reporter's like, is he okay? And KC nudge him. Oh, you can't. Hello. We try to keep up appearances. So they said that although he nodded off half an hour into the conversation, prompting his son to gently nudge him, he asked about his health, and John replied, I'm feeling pretty darn good for an 83-year-old. Yeah. And they said later in the month, a photo shoot for this story was canceled after he was admitted to Cedars-Sinai for what KC described as fluid retention issues. So Mr. Amos, John Amos, could not even fulfill the full interview, the fullness of this article by being able to participate in the photo shoot that they were going to do for this. Instead, they just inserted a bunch of older pictures, like, you know, stuff I'm popping up here. There were supposed to be a new photos recent for this. They couldn't take them because John Amos was too sick to do all of that. So KC described it as fluid retention issues. However, Shannon contends this has to do with John's heart and is evidence of her brother's alleged neglect. So she's saying, this is what I'm telling y'all about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The father and son were intent on making several things clear. They've been immensely enjoying their time together, bonding over their love of the Grateful Dead and the ongoing filming of a full-length documentary about John titled America's Dad, which KC is directing. They hoped to soon close on an oceanfront property in Jamaica. They hope to soon close on an oceanfront property in Jamaica, which would serve as a sort of home base, although John, who reprised his role as Cleo McDowell in the 2021 sequel of Coming to America Coming to America, had no plans to stop booking acting gigs in his 9th decade. He was quoted as saying, "To spend the rest of my life sitting there contemplating the waves, not when there's so many stories to tell." I don't know. I got to work on his voice. That just started doing that. Anyway, they didn't see the fuss that some of those close to them had made about recent TikToks being too silly or debasing or just generally cheapening John's stature. All of the things that I thought as I watched them when I first heard that this was even happening, and I was cringing. And I was like, he don't even look comfortable. And doing the TikTok song stuff. What? Huh? He don't care about that. And some of y'all, oh, they so close. No, he love his daddy. They always together. I love it. I watch it. It's like, something ain't right about that. It didn't feel right instantly for me. Anyway, several of those same individuals reiterated their concerns to The Hollywood Reporter, although they declined to state them on the record, out of concern for further straining their relationships with the actor. So basically, they said that John Amos stated he feels like his family life should be private and all of that. So these extended, people close to him, family members, etc., like, well, we ain't gonna be going on the record saying that because we ain't trying to piss him off no more than he's probably already pissed off with this whole thing. We ain't trying to get cut off completely from being in his life. So they said the duo saw them as lighthearted vignettes, rifled on an old Three Stooges skit, lip syncing to McFarlane's and Whitehead's "Ain't No Stopping Us Now." I ain't seen that one. And I think did y'all might know, did they do "Don't Worry, Be Happy"? I feel like for some reason I saw them doing that one too. And it didn't mind the perks of being influencers. There are perks to being an influencer. KC was quoted as saying, "A gentleman sent us a $1,700 walker." And he also said, "We've been offered top of the line jacuzzis and top of the line lounge chairs." This sounds like stuff people was offering to your daddy. walker. You don't need no walker. So the walker was for the dad. It's $1,700, and I'm sure the jacuzzi was as well, just because they want in a lounge chair. All these things sound like things that would appeal to an 80-year-old, not to a 53-year-old who acts like a teenager. So they said that they'd abandoned the rural high altitude town in Colorado where John has been living since 2018. For one, the thin air was contributing to his respiratory challenges. For another, they'd become convinced that he'd been a victim of financial predation by a group of people he knew there. Who's these group of people? Who do you people? Who do you people, Hoppo? I think the call is coming from within the house. He says, they went on to say, when together, there was minimum daylight between them regarding Shannon. KC noted that Shannon had been he quoted, a bully to him since they were children, but declined to otherwise speak ill of her. That was interesting. I'm sorry, can't read the question though, it's too little. Closing out this poll, have you read this Hollywood Reporter story? 87% of you had not read it. 13% have. That I'm like, I think nobody saw this. I think everybody was missing it. And KC, thank you so much for bringing us to my attention, because the truth is, I probably would have missed it. We probably wouldn't have this video had you not tap me on the shoulder. I appreciate it. Or in my DMs and my other platforms. Thank you. Okay, next question. Do you think that this is just sibling rivalry between Shannon and KC? Or do you feel like there's more to this? Because, anyway, John ascribed their dynamic, meaning KC and Shannon's dynamic, to sibling rivalry. He says, I love my daughter. She is very bright, he said. In the final analysis, I think she means well, even if she might be going about this in the wrong way. He noted that there are often differences between family members. Most times it's less than what's been going on here. Well, I think we all agree with that. I'm gonna need my glasses back in a minute. It feels good to read without the glasses, but then when I gotta see this screen, things are smaller. It's the whole thing. Oh, you gotta love it. Afterwards, however, KC sent that. Now, after this interview, they're saying KC sent the Hollywood Reporter an unsolicited video clip of John speaking to Shannon while seated on a hotel room toilet. And the camera was surreptitiously recording through the crack in the doorway. So what they're, as well as the audio of an hours-long June 2023 call between his father and lawyers in which the actor missed no words about his daughter. So first part is, they saying, like we did the interview, they said the kind of impartial things about about Shannon, but then after KC gets home and he like, I'm finna send y'all all this stuff. He sends them, without them asking for anything, an unsolicited clip of him recording his dad while his dad was on the toilet. He got the bathroom door cracked and he got his phone stuck up in the doorway, recording his father talking about Shannon. Then he also sent them, and I don't have that one. Even if I had that one, we weren't gonna play that one. But I don't have that one. But I do have also the clip that we've played before over here in those other the other times we've covered it, of him talking to his having his dad on the phone, supposedly talking to an attorney. So this is, I don't know if this is the same exact clip they're talking about. Well, he said it was over an hour long. This is what I'm about to play is what KC posted to all his social medias, proving that his sister was a fraud and all of, and she was really the one. after his father's money and doing horrible things to him, all this stuff. I hope this plays right away. If not, I'll pull it in again. But let's see. Let's see if this will play. So this is what KC, this is what you posted on social media. So it's not copyright infringement.
For you, and then I can tell you tell me what the issue is, what problems you're experiencing. Well, just tell me what the issue is, what problems you're experiencing legally, and what you would like us to do for you, and then I can tell you what we can do and we can't do, and how long it'll take or how short it'll take.
Okay. I'm an 83-year-old man, and I have 2 children. My son is here with me in the hospital in Memphis. He's at my bedside, and I'm not in the hospital as a result of anything that happened recently, other than the fact that about a month ago I was hospitalized because I was suffering from
water retention,
and a couple of other issues, all of which have been corrected or at least addressed. I'm very capable and I'm very confident.
So we're gonna do a little commentary. I know how to work I know what I got to do over here. Just enjoy the show. But anyway, so that is he looking in the camera? KC looking in the camera? So this is, again, he has gone to his father's, the father's in the hospital. This was around the time that he had the water retention, supposedly in the lower part of his body. He was admitted into the hospital, I think, while they were traveling somewhere. They wasn't even in their home state. And then all of a sudden, this pops up on social media with him calling the attorney and Mr. Amos, John Amos, talking to him and telling him that Shannon is the problem.
And the doctors that I have here and the medical staff that my son has assembled around me, so I feel really good about that. My main issues are that I feel that I was, prior to entering the hospital, I had some ongoing issues with my daughter, who I feel has taken advantage of me, and she would be the primary suspect, if you would. I don't know if that's the right term to use or not, but she's the one that I would attribute my elderly abuse to, and it's definitely a case of elderly abuse because, as I said.
Well, just
okay, we got through that. So this was the video that KC sent. Well, one of, because remember the first one was him filming his dad while the dad was on the toilet talking about Shannon, whatever he was saying in there. And then he also sent this one, like, see y'all, I'm not the problem. She's the problem. So he said in it, I have no reason to believe that I've been taken advantage of. This is John Amos saying, I have no reason to believe that I've been taken advantage of financially, emotionally, and in every way that you can imagine as an elder. No, I have reason to believe. What am I saying? I have reason to believe that I've been taken advantage of financially, emotionally, and in every way that you can imagine as an elder. And I attribute most of this maltreatment to my daughter, Shannon Amos, who is estranged from me. He said, adding that he is aware of her efforts to falsely vilify KC. Now, that was what he was saying in the video we just watched. So he goes on to say the aspersions that she cast on my son are lies, and we've got to combat that. We can't just sit back and be passive. I want to stop it, nip it in the bud. So Shannon rejects these accusations, saying that my brother has been brainwashing him. John's goddaughter, Amy Gooding, who spoke with him shortly after KC's first circulated a clip of the call this past summer, said the actor claimed no recollection of speaking so vehemently against Shannon. So when a relative, well, his goddaughter, got involved and talked to John Amos later, after all of that, she said he said he don't even have no recollection of any of that happening at all. He didn't even remember it. He didn't even remember it. So Shannon and KC are John's only children from his first marriage to Noni Mickelson, who he met in Colorado State University. And Noni was white and Jewish from a small town in Iowa who'd majored in fine arts. They were wed in 1965, 2 years before the Supreme Court's landmark Loving decision, which ruled against laws banning interracial marriage. After graduation, the couple moved to John's native New Jersey and earned their living as social workers. An artist and free spirit, Noni encouraged her husband's performing aspirations when his first dream of playing pro football floundered. He broke into the Greenwich Village stand-up scene and then a more lucrative in the entertainment industry. Being an artist herself, she understood this is what John Amos was quoted as saying. He was quoted as saying, being an artist himself, she understood my reluctance to accept a 9-to-5 world. So Noni moved with the young Shannon to Los Angeles as John booked TV commercials and then 1-2 punch of sitcoms that would make him a household name. He was the weatherman, Gordie Howard on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. And then it was followed by the iconic James Evans Sr.'s role on Good Times, the father of Good Times. So the article goes on to say the Amoses raised their kids in Sylmore on a property featuring horses. Noni was a talented equestrian, and this property bordered the northern San Fernando Valley. I'm sorry, I'm getting sleepy, so my speech starts to slur like I'm drunk, and then my brain starts sitting down. I told you I was gonna feel like we was at the club, and usually around this time at the club, I start feeling. Oh no, it's still early. But this is how I get at the club. Be like, oh, I'm getting sleepy. So anyway, at first the house was full of pool parties and cookouts, populated by the likes of Ben Vereen, Margaret Avery, and many other celebrities. And then Shannon explained when her father was working, he was the best dad, and when he wasn't, he spiraled into rages. She explained that she remembers him self-medicating for old football injuries as well as emotional pain throughout her childhood by smoking cannabis and ingesting Vicodin, Valium, and oxycodone. She also said KC was too young to remember any of that. And what I wasn't sure about with this picture, I'm like, I don't know if this is like the second wife. I don't know who this child is. So if any of y'all know, let me know in the chat. But anyway, Shannon, 9 years old when her parents separated. She recalls her mom losing hair, weight, and she said even maybe her sanity. She says, I think my mom had a nervous breakdown. KC, intelligent and introverted, sensitive and skinny, retreated around his larger-than-life, largely absent dad, who moved in with his second wife. Okay, this is his second wife. His second wife, actress Lillian Lehman, I guess from Law and Order, from LA Law rather, and General Hospital. The stronger-willed Shannon said that John could be playful, funny, and supportive, as well as threatening and even brutal. She remembers receiving a black eye on her 13th birthday after telling him that he was violating Noni's restraining order by appearing on her property. In response, John said to this, It's not in my DNA to disrespect women. So when he was asked about his daughter's accusations, he said that it was not in his DNA to disrespect women. So the poll question I'm closing out is this just sibling rivalry between Shannon and KC? 52% of you say no. 47% of you say yes. So then that causes the next question, which is, do you believe Shannon's apostrophe ain't working? Do you believe Shannon's story about her father and do you believe her story about her father? Everything she just said there, everything from the being temperamental, and the physical abuse and the, I guess, emotional abuse as well that went with that. He is saying that is not in his DNA to disrespect women. So the article goes on to say racism has been a constant burden during John's and Noni's marriage. She didn't really see the world in black and white, and she was very naive, Shannon said. So she even said her own mama didn't recognize that racism existed, all that stuff. So for John, who has spoken privately as well as publicly about his frustrations with the characterization of African-American life on Good Times, he was written off the show after its third season. It was a constant torment, whether at a gas station or in renting an apartment or a family road trip, or long after becoming a TV icon. In meetings with Hollywood decision makers, he would be told that he was too black, he was too ugly, his nose was too big, Shannon said. They talk about him like he was an animal. Even though he'd been in like 70 projects, he'd still be asked to read. He'd be so upset. His white peers would just be called in at a so she's saying his white peers who had the same level of experience and accolades, etc., would just be called in for jobs at that point. They didn't have to audition, but they were still making him audition even that far into his career. She said John discouraged his kids. Well, they're saying, the article is saying, John discouraged his kids from following in his footsteps, in his acting footsteps. When they persisted in showing interest in the business, he guided them behind the scenes where he believed they could attain and wield power. KC had a promising start as a director, landing a Grammy nomination for Best Long-Form Music Video for James McMurtry's Where'd You Hide the Body? Where'd You Hide the Body in 1996. And then seeing a short earn honorable mention in the 1997 Sundance Film Festival. He went on to develop a career in music videos for artists like Mac 10, Lil Wayne, Rick Ross, Fat Joe, and Big Pun. See, I didn't know he had any accolades like that. So congratulations, Casey. It was not all for naught. Says, meanwhile, Shannon worked in entertainment production. First on Yo MTV Raps and for BET programs. Then at Warner Brothers as an executive handling marketing campaigns for movies, including I Am Legend and Blood Diamond. In 2003, when Casey made his first feature in an indie blaxploitation spoof starring John called The Watermelon Heist. His father was in this one too. It was called The Watermelon Heist. Shannon produced it. For the siblings who together attended the Grammys telecast when KC was a nominee, the collaboration was a big high point for KC, recalls. Was a big high point for KC, recalls. Shannon thought that they had a different takeaway. She said that she had negotiated a straight to video deal, she says, and he stiffed her. And she was really pissed about it. However, KC denies that. He said he didn't stiff her. That didn't happen. She made it up. Shannon spoke to The Hollywood Reporter by phone and by video in her Playa del Carmen, Mexico home, where she facilitates as a shaman ceremonies for international visitors. She says, she was quoted as saying, "I'm in the work that I do now because I came from a family that struggled with addiction issues and mental health challenges and generational trauma." She says, I've had to do a lot of work on myself to remove myself from that chaos. So they were saying, while it's clear in word and deed that Shannon is furious with her brother, her disposition is abidingly mellow, except for moments of knowing laughter and a few tears. So she wasn't all over the place like the experience that this reporter had when he talked with KC. Says, she was quoted as saying, "This has been ongoing so long that there's nothing he could say or do at this point that could get my blood pressure up." So she like, y'all know this. Some of us been through it. Some of y'all out there, y'all know this. Somebody done took y'all through it so much, family, friends, etc., that they shenanigans don't even move you no more. they don't have no effect on you no more. That's when you through. You through at that point. They done took you through it a few times. They done been forgiven a few times. And you's like, not only am I gonna just where I ain't finna worry about no forgiveness, we're just gonna part ways completely, forever. Forever, ever? Forever, ever. That's how through she is. So she adds that she helped by her family's support system, as well as meditation, yoga, microdosing, and holding the space for other people, and regular visits and her regular visits to the ocean. Shannon says she supplied extensive documentation to law enforcement agencies in Colorado and New Jersey to investigate her claims of elder abuse, and that over time he consolidated authority over his father's affairs, as well as isolating him from members of his inner circle. So she was quoted as saying, "This has not only affected me, but his grandchildren, his nieces, people he's worked with, and friends he had for decades." She contends that her brother has impersonated John in communications, disregarding his medical needs, mishandling his finances, and exploiting and eroding his legacy, all of which KC rejects. He's like, that ain't true. Ain't none of that true. Says Shannon presented copious materials to The Hollywood Reporter in her attempt to substantiate her position, including the assertion that while her father can appear acute in a span of an interview, it doesn't capture what she and others close to him believe has been a diminishing day-to-day capacity. As evidence, she made available a 2016 hospital record in which a doctor made a preliminary assessment that John might have dementia. Ain't that a violation of HIPAA? I think that's a violation of HIPAA. Well, she's not an employee, so I guess that's a different. Anyway, yes. So, and I got more on that too. I got a personal story now. It's coming up. Shannon asserts, "I do not want control of my father. I want a conservator." And John Amos later responded through a publicist and said, well, didn't she say that he also is known to impersonate, allegedly? Allegedly. So allegedly, John later responded through his publicist, and he says, I have never had any issues with my faculties during my speaking, writing, communications, work, and living as a whole person with comprehension of I'm working and living as a whole person with comprehension of my surroundings. That's what John Amos allegedly replied. Closing out this poll, do you believe Shannon's story? 71% of you do believe her story. 29% of you do not in some capacity. She then explains why she left the entertainment industry and became a healer after a transformative experience involving her mother, which shadows and informs her current situation. In 1996, Noni, who was her mother, who'd long since remarried a Disney special effects engineer and settled into a peaceful life on a ranch north of Los Angeles in Santa Clarita, became blind and quadriplegic after a routine hysterectomy that went awry, resulting in an aneurysm, then a stroke. That's sad. Her second husband, who successfully sued for malpractice, became a devoted caregiver in 2005. However, in 2005, he died from pancreatic cancer. So she goes on to say, Shannon is quoted as saying, I think he died from the stress. One of my saddest moments was taking my mother to the hospital to take him off life support. She cried for days. She asked me at one point to put a plastic bag over her head. The siblings sharply disagree, however, over... So let's see which picture I put up. We'll put that back up. The siblings sharply disagree, however, on how to handle their widowed mother's care. Shannon, who by then was a single mother, wanted to care for her mom in Atlanta, where she said she was considering taking a job. KC, who was divorced and without any children, wished to retrofit a property where he lived in the Woodland Hills area at the western edge of the San Bernardino Valley. Each of the proposed arrangements would be made possible by Noni's malpractice settlement terms, paid monthly, as well as her own estate assets. So there was money that came with caring for the mother. She got monthly money as well as she had an estate, money, value of her estate. So after a protracted tug of war, KC prevailed. Shannon contends that her brother skimped on her mother's care, declining to hire overnight attendants, even while he regularly left home in the evenings. She would say that she would call out and nobody would, her mother would say that she would call out and nobody would answer. And she needed, when she needed something, nobody would respond. Shannon also asserts that KC misappropriated his mother's funds to help financially, to help his low budget films, as well as for property renovations beyond the scope of what his mother needed, including a swimming pool with a grotto and a slide system. All claims KC dismisses. So Shannon's saying he did a bunch of stuff he didn't even need to do, but he using that money to finance his movie dreams, and he put a pool in the yard for his quadriplegic mom, and it had a grotto and a slide. What's she gonna do with any of that? Shannon says her extensive outreach to police and adult protective services proved fruitless. She said, she was quoted as saying, the challenge I had was I could not show enough of a paper trail. She shared with the Hollywood Reporter a record of a May 2021 conversation with her father in which he claimed he confronted KC about his son's misuses of his wife's funds. By John's accounting, his son admitted to the misdeed, which Shannon said blew her away. Hold on, I'm checking. I'm trying to. Hold on. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm trying to make sure I didn't forget what I needed. Nope, it's later now. Okay. So, this is what I need to show y'all. It didn't come in right, so I got to pull it in manually. Let me see. Is this how I'm pulling? Yeah, okay. Give me a second. So this is, we do have, and in my previous video, I actually showed these images before. But we actually have photos of their mom under, here we go. Mom under Casey's care, allegedly. Oh, that's the one that didn't. I need to do that. So this here is the photos. I don't know who released these, but I've had, like I said, these were in my previous video. So I can't even remember where I got them from. But that's allegedly his mom, as she was bedridden, and because she was not getting care and having, you know, being turned and getting the care that she needs to keep her body mobile. You know, when someone is paralyzed, you're supposed to still move their body and stuff. Otherwise, their muscles will atrophy and all of that stuff. And so that's what ended up happening. So that's what you're looking at, the condition of her body. From what they're alleging was neglect. Yeah, range of motion. Thank y'all, because my brain is just shutting down. If I don't have the words in front of me, I don't even know what I'm saying no more. Yeah, so very sad, as Sabrina is saying, very sad. So I ain't gonna keep that up there too long because it's depressing. So after Noni died, their mom, in 2016, Shannon quit her Hollywood job and bought a one-way ticket to Bali. She started embarking on a year-long off-the-grid trip that led her to a professional shift. She contends that Noni's passing marked a consequential transition for KC as well. She said a month after she died, a SWAT team disarmed him during what it took to be an acute, what she took to be an acute mental health crisis. And he was placed on an involuntary hold at a local hospital. I mean, considering maybe allegedly if these things were true, and then all of a sudden you're losing your cash cow, maybe you're not necessarily grieving the loss of the person, but you're grieving the loss of the finances. Maybe, allegedly, anything's possible. So it said, goes on to say, at one point, Shannon reconciled with KC, who she came to believe was a well-meaning but troubled figure. But they fell out again when she alleges she found illicit drugs in his car, which he denies. This is not sibling rivalry, she insists. Now, that's for y'all who said, yeah, they just sibling rivalry. She's like, this ain't sibling rivalry. She's telling y'all. She says, this is about a sibling who is struggling with addiction and mental health issues, and a codependent parent who can't take care of himself and who is enabling him. They go on to say KC denies that he is struggling with illicit substances or psychological illness, and expressed skepticism about the legitimacy of Shannon's own serious medical challenges in recent years, which resulted in her father providing financial assistance. Shannon responded by saying, she was quoted as saying, "Black women are constantly dismissed when it comes to healthcare. So I think it's sick that he would question that." Shannon says that the relationship reached a new low earlier this year when she learned that her father, whose health had been worsening, had been hospitalized once again while traveling with KC over a preceding couple of years. He spent an increasing time with John, and in recent months seemed to her to be capitalizing on the closeness with his burgeoning TikTok presence. Shannon notes that John hadn't been seen seeing his doctors as regularly as he should be. A rare point which KC agrees. So KC agrees with her on this. He says, although he contends, it's not for lack of urging on his own part. KC is quoted as saying, in regards to why his father does not go to his regular doctor's appointments, he's quoted as saying, I let people make their own choices. I believe in free will. Okay. That what you do with your parents, though? With your parents? I'd be like, you don't get your, we going today. This is your appointment. This is one you got to go. You ain't got no choice. No, your parents get older, the roles reverse. Hold on, I'm trying to pull in two things that weren't here. So I told y'all I have a personal story to tell here as well. Well, no, I told y'all, I gave y'all the story time. That was what we opened with. We got another story. So, you know, our people are wide and vast and all over the place. And so one of our people, hold on, y'all, I need to make sure. Yeah, I'm just going to pop it up real quick because I know ain't nothing confidential. I know I redacted everything, but just in case, I know it did. But anyway, so this was, shoot, I don't even know how long ago this was. This was around the time. Oh, here it is. This is back in July 20th. I get a mysterious email from one of our people who had a story to tell in regards to this. Let me just pop it up real quick. There you go. You see it's there. It's real. Titled John Amos. There you go. Put their picture back up and I'm going to read what the email says. So it says, let me put the picture that some of y'all so impressed with thinking it's just a happy situation. Those little TikTok. So, wrong one. Open this one first. Says, I would appreciate you keeping me anonymous. Mr. Amos is suffering from early offset dementia. I met him here in Memphis during a press conference where he was in and out. A lot like what we just heard from the Hollywood Reporter. It's literally in the media. They're saying the same thing. He had just left Colorado by plane and with his son the night before and had been somewhat coherent in one instance and asleep in his chair the next. This is not the Hollywood, just in case anybody a little lost. This ain't an email from the Hollywood Reporter person. Bro, what's his name? Brad something? This ain't from him. This is somebody totally different. This is one of our people. I know the story's so similar, I don't want y'all to get confused. Some of y'all know, but just in case. I know some people, tune out for a second and they be like, what are we talking about? Oh, the Hollywood Reporter wrote him? No. This is one of our people. Says he had just left Colorado by plane with his son the night before and had been somewhat coherent in one instance and asleep in his chair the next. He came to Memphis for a press conference with his son about films that KC is creating. One of them, which he states his father was narrating, I was worried about Mr. Amos the whole time. When I questioned KC, he stated that he was exhausted. They got that in quotes. But he also stated that Mr. Amos was going through the early stages. Oh, but now we ain't going to admit it when in this article. Just as you stated, Mr. Amos is a prideful man and a really good man. And yes, I truly believe that his son is exploiting him. So this was one of our people responding to, I don't know, one of the videos I did. And they send me their own personal story. And they basically say, Vell, you hit the nail on the head. I know you ain't seen it, but through your research, you have a good handle on what's happening here. And I can attest to that because I was there. I've seen it myself. That's what they saying. Okay, the other email, I'm gonna leave that out. I'm glad I didn't put it on the screen because they gave a little context that might help KC know who it might be. Anyway, back to this article. Did I skip? Let me make sure I ain't skipped none. Yeah, we left off on, I let people make their own choices. I believe in free will. Okay, so now we got that out. So they go on to say that by June, Shannon had went public with the GoFundMe. So this is when it kind of hit most of our radar. I know for me, that's when they got on my radar. This whole thing, I ain't know he had a kid. I ain't know nothing about his personal life. Which is the way he wanted to keep it. Thanks to them, that's no longer the case. So back in June, Shannon went public with the elder abuse and neglect allegations. She also launched a GoFundMe campaign requesting up to $500,000 in assistance, with legal fees, long-term care, ongoing medical treatment, and the costs associated with his recent hospitalization in another state away from home, because KC wouldn't keep him at home. While the appeal was short on specifics and didn't name her brother, it did say the donations would aid in, I quote, holding the perpetrators accountable. Yet after this, John, in a video that KC helped circulate it, disavowed Shannon's efforts and named her as the problem party. She took down her GoFundMe page and was left on the defense. She was quoted as saying, "I do not want or deserve to have my reputation dragged," she said. And we all know, we lived through that, so we all know that. Those of us who pay attention to the story, we know this part of it. So they go on to say, and it's, we almost, let me see, are we at the halfway mark? Some of y'all enjoyed it, but some of y'all might be tired like me. Oh yeah, we at that. We passed the halfway mark. We 3/4 of the way in. Oh, I shouldn't have did that. Now I'm gonna lose my place. Okay, here we go. A week after the Hollywood Reporter met with his father, KC screened a rough cut of his 2-hour documentary called America's Dad in a dark hotel suite in the Marina del Rey. The movie covers John's early life, meteoric career rise, and reconciliation with the Good Times creator Norman Lear. At one point, John recalls a UFO sighting. He was quoted as saying, "It was," I'm sorry, I was about to try to do a voice, now my voice wasn't cooperating. He was saying, "It was a light that appeared and took off." And at another, he is shown accepting a traditional cloth garments from the film commission in Monrovia, Liberia. Now, what I was lost with, because again, I read this article before. They said at one point, and y'all let me know in the chat what y'all think, because this throws me off a little bit. At one point, John recalls a UFO sighting, and he was quoted as saying, "It was a light that appeared and took off." And then they said at another, he's shown accepting traditional cloth garments. Like, are they alluding to Mr. Amos rambling or something? Because I don't know. It wasn't making sense to me. It doesn't seem like it was connecting. Could be my reading, though. I don't know. Says John Sr. Amos was quoted as saying, "I feel like a kidnapped child who has been brought home. This is the biggest honor I've received in my career." The film doesn't delve into his private life. There's little mention of his wife or kids. Do I want to see this? I kind of want to see it. I still want to see it. Afterwards, KC expressed bafflement about his sister's allegation. He has no idea why these allegations, why she would say any of these things. It's a mystery to him. Went on to say that what he sees is a pure-hearted role. That what he sees as his pure-hearted role in caretaking his mother has been recast as cold-hearted. That he in any way misappropriated her money, which he denies. That he wouldn't have his father's best interest top of mind, and that his sister whom he refers to only as the other sibling, has mounted such a vigorous and long-running effort not to just remove him from what's become his managerial role in his father's life, but, as KC puts it, to unalive him. He was ranting is what they saying, y'all. He went on a rant. He's there for the movie, and the movie don't even talk about his personal, the family, but then he brings up that stuff. In this, KC points to Shannon's proclivity for contacting law enforcement. He claims that she's called the police on me 24 times until she finally succeeded in New Jersey, he says. This would be why she says he can't even get my blood pressure up at this point. She is through. She'd have had to call the police on this man 24 times, allegedly. She through. Shannon thinks that, they go on to say in the article, Shannon thinks that number is exaggerated, although she doesn't deny it's been a lot. She contends it's mostly been for wellness checks for my mom. Whenever they showed up, he thought it was against him. Nevertheless, KC cast Shannon as a hypocrite for marching in a 2020 Black Lives Matter protest about police brutality while initiating what he perceives to be unnecessary encounters that could have eventually ended with me, this is his quote, could have eventually ended with me facing similar fate as George Floyd. Wasn't good enough that he used Kunta Kinte earlier in this story. He got to also throw in George Floyd. As for the New Jersey episode this past summer, he claims that Shannon edited the text that landed him in jail after he cut off contact so that they sounded like he was threatening her with guns, when he was simply informing her about his ability to protect their father from purported financial fraudsters who they believe pilfered from John's bank accounts in Colorado, a free carry state. It was just, he's quoted as saying, it was just, hey, nothing's going to happen to our father. Sorry, y'all. It was just, hey, ain't nothing going to happen to our father. So that's what he's claiming. You need to show her a picture of a gun to show, to say, I got our father. He contends that Shannon's recording of John's acknowledging KC's misuse of Noni's estate have been coerced, explaining, if you talk to my father late at night and plant a camera and start talking bad about a person, you can lead somebody and confuse them. Sounds like he's talking from experience, allegedly. He says, if you talk to my father late at night and plant a camera and start talking bad about a person, you can lead somebody to confuse them. Also, when you get them when they're talking on the toilet. Says, she simply hid a camera and hacked it together. Shannon says she can't speak to what put KC in a New Jersey jail because the court case is still pending, although she denies any record tampering. I'm going to show y'all this picture because I think I might have skipped over putting it in my notes. But here's a picture of what they claim was, and I showed this before in the other videos as well, but they're claiming this is a picture of what the inside of, hold on if I can, oh, here it is, okay. They're claiming that this is what the inside of John Amos's Colorado home looked like. Not the beachfront Jamaican property, oceanfront that they're about to move to, but the one they left. We got, I thought it would be bigger, but anyway. Says the hefty bags filled with soiled diapers. In the fridge, you got spoiled milk and everything look like to-go containers and stuff. You have here unsanitary conditions, look like some leftover unclean dishes. I think there was some ashes here. I can barely see it now. And then it's also captioned, KC's famous dad was living in squalor under his son's care. That's what's been put out there, allegedly. So next we move into what was Shannon's recording of, this is what Shannon claims. This is her recording her father talking about the situation. This is a couple minutes. I forgot how long, but like, I don't know, 2-3 minutes. No, about 3-4 minutes. But this is literally John Amos allegedly talking about his son and all the stuff that they talked about behind the scenes. This is family talk. So she secretly recorded this.
Using and drugs and misusing me and my money. So you're of the opinion that he's still using and drugs and misusing me and my money. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Is that what the essence of this is?
Yes.
Okay. Then he needs to be confronted. We need to find out the truth because all of us are laboring under the assumption that he is, and it may be justified. That may be the case. Let's determine if that is the case. Let's sit down as a family, get face to face, and let him off. And if he cries or curls up or don't want to meet with you or don't want to see you, and he doesn't, that's clear. He's hid in the back of the car rather than let his presence be known the other day when we came up here looking for whatever it was I needed. So that's got to be dealt with. This issue has got to be dealt with. Because there's no sense in you making plans to try and leave something for Jazz and Kiera if he's got plans to spend it all on himself and drugs and whatever else it is he's buying. That needs to be confirmed. And the confirmation would be best done by a doctor. Yes, he has cocaine in his system. Yes, he's using. I see evidence of habitual use. And then that's it. I'm through with it. It's got to be in the hands of professionals. Because I saw him admit that he had misused your mother's money and her estate planning for his own benefit, buying this and that and whatever else he was buying. So he admitted it finally. I asked him one day, I said, did you misuse your mother's money? That's what you're being accused of. He dropped his head. He said, yes, I was. I thought that was the end of it in terms of misusing her money, that everybody was aware and that steps had been taken to stop him from doing that, however he was doing it. Now I'm being told, no, he hasn't stopped. He's still misusing it, still misusing drugs, misusing your money now. And the only way to stop it is to have a confrontation. I'm not going to bring no priest in and pray and all of that. Come in here and sit down, man. Tell me. Because I have asked him in the last couple of weeks, I said, are you using again? He said, no, I'm smoking, but I'm not using. So I said, well.
But an addict can't smoke.
I'm not here to argue with you as to who can do what, Shannon. I'm just stating facts, as you did and as I listened for as long as you talked. All I'm doing is just stating facts. So the only thing I propose to do is, he's at his motel or in his room, at the motel. Go get him, bring him here, and let's have this conversation with the whole family. It's gotta happen. It can't go on. It can't continue. I don't have no family life now. You come as bad as I want to be with Bill and you and Kiera. Sit out in the car till 3 and 4 in the morning. At my age, 81 years old, sitting on this car. Excuse me, Kiera, and you know, for using profanity as I talk to you. But what the hell? I said, I come in here, I can't sleep. All I can do is watch TV. Get up in the morning, 5 and 6 in the morning, you can't sleep. Drive down to Willie's. That's my day. I said, I didn't want my life to be like this. Not here in Colorado.
What am I running and hiding for? When the do I get some peace?
That's always the part that gets me in that way. I forgot I ended it like that before, but him's John Amos ending by saying, "When can I get some peace?" That's sad. Like to be at this point in his life, in his golden years, and then have his kids acting, running amok all over social media and dragging the family's name, and it's a lot. It's a lot. So we're wrapping it up. So they said Casey's Casey says his sister has engaged in a crusade of character assassination in hopes of making him seem, as he puts it, unfit. This includes claiming that he's emotionally unstable and has a dependency on hard drugs when he only has an affinity to marijuana. So he's saying that although her accusations, as in Shannon is accusing him of being into the hard drugs, he's saying he only indulges in marijuana, which is legal in many places. Colorado for sure, right? I don't know about Jamaica. I guess Jamaica probably for sure, right? Anyway, he's quoted as saying, "She's some kind of self-proclaimed doctor asking if I have Asperger's." He says, although he acknowledges that he operates on his own wavelength. That's a code word. On wavelength. Okay. "My video editor friends, we joke. You have to be at least an outpatient to have that level of focus." This is words, not mine. As for the time that he was involuntarily hospitalized, Casey claims, get this one. As for the time that he was involuntarily hospitalized, Casey claims that Shannon was responsible for getting it into his ex-girlfriend's head that it was going to be a good idea to have him swatted, meaning have the SWAT team show up at his house and then, take him off. To all of this, Shannon responds, "I feel bad for him. He's really delusional." That was my favorite response from her, the whole article. "I feel sorry for him. He's really delusional." So he's saying his claim, if you missed it, he said, it was Shannon who got it into my girlfriend's head that it was going to be a good idea to get me swatted. Just for no reason. Your sister just call up your girlfriend and the girlfriend have no issue with you. Y'all ain't got nothing going on. That life is perfect. Just normal. And she like, "You know what we should do? We should have my brother swatted at your house. We should have the police raid y'all house to get him and take him to the hospital." The girlfriend like, "Ain't nothing wrong with him. What are you talking about?" "No, I just think it'd be fun. It'd be entertaining." "Well, I don't know. I mean, I've never had the police, raid my house before. So, okay, I'm down." Like, what? What? It might ruin my relationship with him, but yeah, let's just have him swatted. Okay. That's his version. If nothing else, though, the article goes on to say, the Amos siblings agree on the high drama of their shared tale. Shannon says, "My family story is such a movie." It is. Because I literally am exhausted because I feel like I just read an entire script of a movie. I feel like it. I do. I'm ready to get off here. So, considering how he incorporated the latest chapter of John's life into the final cut of America's Dead, explained that John has this proud trunk growing and then this other limb that is gnarly. John is, by contrast, resistant to directing or addressing his personal affairs, but he'll allow that the challenges he privately faced as a father over the years since he played James Evans Sr. have deepened his capacity as an actor. He's quoted as saying, "Every life experience I've had, the good, the horrible, has changed me for the better." That's good. That's true. That's true for all of us. That is true for all of us. So with this, we are going to move into what you good folks have to say about this, and then we're gonna close it on that. How long have we been on here? I lost. Okay, it ain't that bad. I've been on for 4-5 hours, and I'm sitting here like this 2 hours has felt like 5 hours. I'm like, what? Laura Winslow says a bad movie. Right. Exactly. Last poll question was, do you think that they were wrong for secretly recording their dad? 68% of you say yes. 32% of you say no. I understand it was wrong. I'm not even saying it ain't wrong. However, I could understand why they might push the limits of morality and be like, I got to be able to prove my point, or especially, maybe one or the other over the other. Because it's like, if I don't have any kind of evidence, this person makes me out to be something that I'm totally not. I don't know what there is to gain from the perspective of Shannon, who does not even live in this country. She lives in Bali, rather. She lives in Bali and is a shaman. They don't have an extravagant lifestyle. So it ain't making a lot of sense that it would be to her advantage. And on top of that, if it is true, she says that she doesn't even want to have any control over her father's estate. She just wants to have a conservator, someone who is an impartial party to manage this stuff. Because KC allegedly has fired everyone else. He's fired the accountant. He's fired the assistant. He's fired all the people, I guess the manager or whatever, all the people who would normally manage these things to make sure things are happening the way they should be, checks and balances, all of that stuff. They all been fired. But she's the one who has nefarious intentions. Okay. So this was my research. I guess I don't know if this still considered gossip, because this was an interview with all parties involved. And it aligns with all the stuff I already talked about. Literally, all I did was grab the same videos and the same assets I had in the previous videos, and they literally just flowed right into this article. But I'm making up stuff and not researching and going off gossip. And I'm going to, what was the word? I'm going to, what's this foolishness say? Oh, I should have brought it over here. Let me see, y'all, because I need to remember where I'm going. I let him know when I realized the road I'm traveling leads to a dead end where the despicable, soulless creatures of this earth await me. If that's where the truth is, that's where I want to reside. That's where the truth is. I'll take it. Kind of got a feeling that you're projecting, though. Kind of got a feeling you're projecting. Anyway, let's do these comments, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. I've held y'all long enough. Dre is saying, is this the same son in all the pics? I saw 3 different men. I don't know if you're being funny or not, friend. It's the same man. He look a little different depending on the stage of life he's in, or the activity that he may have been involved in during those seasons of his life. This picture, I would agree, does not necessarily give this. Beautiful. He's a handsome man. Well, was a handsome man. Look like, you know, I'm not gonna go too deep, but yes, these are the same people, same person. Okay, where we at? Lord KC, I know you regretting letting this interview happen. That reporter definitely left no stones unturned. Thank you. Thank you for that one, friend. Read you down and spilled all of your tea. See, you should have talked with Vell. Yeah, I would have, you know, I ain't necessarily, he wasn't finna come over here and play in my face. That ain't gonna happen. This whole conversation seemed rehearsed, and KC was standing there making sure his dad remembered every line. We weren't there, but I just, the conference, I mean, his answers, John Amos' answers change depending on who he's talking to. That says a lot about maybe his capacity. Aunt May is saying this is what's scary about aging. Having the right people around when your health declines, especially having a person manipulate the situation. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. If the accusations regarding Vicodin, Oxycontin, and was there Percocet too? Is true. I know those drugs can alter your personality. Everything that Shannon is alleging seems like there's some truth. Yeah. The sad part is if the state won't do anything, not a lot you can do. On the other hand, the family members don't want the responsibility, but have an opinion on how you should take care of someone. Yeah, it seems like he's taking control and won't allow anyone else in this situation. I know what you're saying in general, but in this situation, it looks like he won't allow anyone else to have control or take control. So I fought Shannon. She knew that Casey supposedly mistreated their mother. So why didn't you step in and make sure that history doesn't repeat itself? It looks like her hands are tied. I don't know the detailed answers, but it looks like she's saying, like, when she tried to get her mother at first and couldn't. And it looks like she's trying to get a conservator for her father and can't. So I don't know the details of why and all of that, but she's stating that she came to us. She did a GoFundMe. She brought it to the public because I think she felt at her wit's end. So I don't know. It's not easy. Like, when somebody has legal control over things, it ain't easy to just take it from them. The sad part is parents will enable their kids in and out of the right mind. That's a word right there. KC looking like a low grade Smokey Robinson, right? Who do they keep why do they keep recording him? Yeah, I think it's, again, like trying to have evidence that can hopefully, steer the situation their way. John can't even that without someone trying to collect evidence. Right. I feel like I'm high and don't even get it right. It was a lot. This was a roller coaster. This was truly, and again, as Shanice said, they left no stone unturned at all. Where are these blockbusters? Haven't seen any trailers or openings on Netflix. Yeah. Well, and I guess these are older movies too. I forgot what year that was that he and his sister did the movie with the father, but it was straight to video. So yeah, I don't know. A bad Lifetime movie, Crack, Lies, and Elders. Now that's a good title. That's a real good title to explore. I like that one. Lord KC, I know you regret letting this interview happen. Oh, I read this one. How did it end up twice? Getting a conservator over his estate is the best way to go. Plus, it's hard taking care of an elder. Right. And that's exactly what she's saying, at least in this interview, that she's trying to do. What they haven't really gotten into anywhere that I've seen is the logistics of how all of that is supposed to work. But that's where we are as of now with this story. And my plan is that I will continue to cover it as we have new developments. I think we have left no stone unturned for now with this story. And yeah, I want to thank everyone who joined us this evening. Thank you to my moderator. I did forget. I saw someone text me, and it only because I'm rusty, I've been forgetting. But thank you to my moderators in the back, Alice, Blessed Child of God, and Precious G, as well as my front end moderators. I know Marianne. I think I saw Marianne somewhere. We've been on a long time. Trey Keisha and whoever else may be in the chat, my front end, and those who are viewing on Twitter or X, and also my Facebook side. I forget to acknowledge over there as well. But yeah, we're back going live, so I'll get my flow again. But anyway, y'all have a great night. I really appreciate you. Please hit that like button on your way out. Please also click that link that is pinned in the top to follow me on all my social media platforms, and it's also pinned in the will be pinned in the first comment below this video, and also in the description area. Thank all of y'all, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will see you later this week for sure in a live stream. All right. Till next time, take care and be blessed. Peace.